What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are doing my big crazy string experiment where I'm taking a set of strings, putting them on a guitar, playing that guitar for a week, and giving you a full report on what I find with said set of strings. I think we're on, I don't know, our fourth or fifth one now. We have Ernie Cobalts on here this week. I'm doing things a little different this week. I did not shoot like a before because there was some things that I didn't like. And so what I wanted to do was just play them for a week, and I'm just going to give you the after. Because there's some things that I ran into with this set that we're going to talk about that I'm not super stoked about. So, yeah, I mean, you know, they sound like strings. So, you know, they're strings. So let's talk about these Ernie Ball Cobalts. I know that these are a favorite of a lot of people. To be honest with you, not impressed whatsoever at all. I don't understand why they cost more than regular Ernie Balls. I took them out of the package, and they have this weird... it's like, I don't know if it's corrosion, but there's this interesting sort of uneven discoloration. You know, when you take strings, and really old strings that have been on a guitar for a long time, and it starts to look like the windings are starting to like come apart, where you have like a shiny spot, then a dull spot for a while, then another shiny spot, then a dull spot. Or maybe it'll look almost like that where the frets are on really old strings, if that makes sense. These look like that kind of unevenly all the way up and down. And the other thing is, when I put them on, they slipped a lot. And I know how to put strings on a guitar. Like, I obviously do this all the time with many, many different guitars and different types of tuning keys and etc. And they slipped a lot. Like, I had to tune this guitar like 6 times, and they were still just like half a step, half a step, half a step, slipping, especially on the unwound strings. And, you know, you could say, well, tie the stupid knot in it, and then it won't do that. Well, I don't do that with any of the other sets. They slipped a lot. The other thing with this is, as you are aware, I've been using my Texas Toast Challenger for the entire test. One of the things I've not done is I've not touched the truss rod at all, because I wanted to see the variation between tension of a lot of the sets of strings. Because we're putting 10 to 46s basically across the board on all these things, but because from brand to brand, it can change. Like, the overall tension on the guitar can change depending on how the strings are made. Because you can have a different, I don't know if you know this or not, but you can have it like for a 46, for example, you can have a different ratio of center core to outside winding and still end up with a 46. A thicker inner core and a thinner outer winding will result in a higher tension string. So that things can vary among manufacturers and specifications, even though they're all 10 to 46s. This is the first set that actually moved the guitar around a bunch. It's very rattly now. It's the neck is super, you know, I set my stuff almost flat anyway, but it's very, very flat. Like, it's probably even a little bit backbowed. Because these strings are super, super way lower tension. So it's so if you get these strings and you do like them, make sure you just run through the setup on your guitar. If I was going to keep this set on this guitar, I would have to do that. I don't like how they feel. I think they're too expensive for what they are. And yes, after a week, they sound like they did when they were new. You know what I mean? So that's good. I guess they would last a while. But I'm just not a fan of all the fiddling I had to do. And I'm definitely not a fan of not being able to just throw the set on, stretch them, and play them. I had to chase them a bunch. And all throughout the week, I had to chase them maybe less and less and less as the week went on. But you can't do that. You know, if you're gonna go out to a gig tonight and throw a set of strings on a guitar, you can't be doing that. I'm not impressed with that at all whatsoever. I know people really like these, and I'm certain that there are certain situations where they're great, and I'm sure that there's going to be many of you who jump in the comments and are like, I've been using those for years and they've never given me trouble. I can also acknowledge that sometimes you get a bad set, right? All I did was just go to my local guitar store and just buy a bunch of stuff off the wall, so there was no, choosing anything. Or actually, maybe these came from Amazon. No, these came from a local store. I just went in and grabbed kind of one of everything. So yeah, I'm not stoked on them. Not at all whatsoever. Not stoked at all. I would actually rather use the regular green ones, the regular Slinkies, than these. I don't see, for me anyway, with my body chemistry and stuff, I don't see any difference in length of use out of them. I think I would get just as much length of use out of the green set as I would out of these for whatever they are, twice or three times the money. Makes no sense to me. And yeah, just kind of not a fan. Did not blow my hair back at all. Let me know in the comments if you've had a different experience. I'm sure many of you have, just because this is an example of one, like a test case of one. So I'm sure that many of you have had better results with these strings and really like them. But they're based on this anyway. I'm not a fan at all. So there you go. There is the setup on the Ernie Ball Slinky Cobalts. I think we're probably just gonna go with some GHS boomers next and just see what happens. They're just gonna be strings, I'm pretty sure, but let's try. Let's try and see what happens. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out actually because these are supposed to be pretty cool, but I just wasn't a fan. Like if they're supposed to be longer lasting Ernie balls and they're supposed to be kind of a higher level Ernie ball, they just don't look like it, seem like it, or feel like it, if that makes sense. At least to me. Anyway, there you go. Do me a favor, get in the comments and let me know what you think, what your experience has been. Like I said, I will have a link to all the strings that we're using in this test so that you can try some of these out if you want. And if you use those links, it will help out the channel. You can go to DylanTalksTone and buy guitars and pickups and pots and caps and all kinds of fun stuff. We're having a sale this week on Strat-related accessories, so go check that out. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next video.